conversations a week on Wednesdays and Fridays from 12 noon until about 12:30. You'll notice today is not Wednesday or Friday, but we wanted to kick this off with an introductory session. And so we're delighted for those of you who are here and able to join us. And we hope you'll come back on Wednesday and Friday at 12 noon. And we're going to do this throughout the month of April, throughout the month of May, likely, and really for as long as we're still in this remote working environment. Our goal for this series is to feature leaders in our community, Oxford, Lafayette University and surrounding areas. And all of our interviews will be recorded and available on our Facebook site to watch later. So if you missed it live today, you can go back at your own time and you can check it out then. We want to hear from you. Would you like to be interviewed on this show? Do you know somebody we should interview? Please be in touch with us. You can reach us through our Facebook page, or you can send us an email at engaged@olemiss.edu. That is engaged@olemiss.edu. This initiative is led by the Office of Community Engagement at the University of Mississippi, but we're doing this in close partnership with our friends at Loft. So I'd like to kick it over to our colleague, Jody from Loft, to talk a little bit about where this idea came from and what we're hoping to do in the coming weeks and months. Jody?
Thanks, Anthony, and welcome to the university and to
Thank you.
I'm excited about this because people get to know you too as we get through this process. So I'm the executive director of Loft, and as we really started our process of the 2020 grant application, we usually do it every year where we have the Night of Nonprofits and we give our grant money out at the Night of Nonprofits in August. Well, because of the pandemic, we've identified that there's some significant needs in the community, and we wanted to pivot on that process. And as we were doing that, we said, well, we'll streamline our grant process. And this year we've got $35,000 we want to give out to nonprofits in Oxford or Lafayette County. And that application process is open right now. And the due date is April 30th. But as we were thinking about that, our job too is to expose the good works of the nonprofits in the community. And if we're not really sure about what's going to happen with the Night of Nonprofits in August, we know things are changing, but we thought this would be a good platform to do it. And let's see if we can get some Zoom live processes going, and let's get some nonprofits in our community who are working right now, doing good works and good deeds, and let's get them let's get that information out there, and let's get to know our nonprofits better. So that's where the idea kind of came from, and I figured that you guys would be a great partner to do it with, and I'm glad we had this opportunity to set it up. So that's where we're working at, and Loft's proud to be a part of this process.
Great. Well, thank you for encouraging us to think this through and for being a part of our first show here and the shows that we're going to do in the future. Tell us a little bit about Loft. Where did it come from? When did it start? And what's been your mission since that starting phase?
Yeah, so Loft started in 2002. Stakeholders in the community came together and really rallied to fund an endowment with the CREATE Foundation. We have an endowment fund which is administered by CREATE, and we're one of the CREATE's an affiliate of CREATE. And CREATE is a foundation out of Tupelo, the Northwest Mississippi Community Foundation. That would be Northeast. Let me get my directions right. And it services a significant amount of assets, and we're a part of that portfolio. And we are here to be on the ground in the community. And our mission is to enhance the quality of life in Oxford and Lafayette County. And we do that by contributing financial resources to nonprofits in our community. We've learned over the years that the people who are doing the work have great insight. They have great ideas. A lot of times they just they fall short on resources. So we have provided resources for projects. We started our signature event, the Night for Nonprofits, 5 years ago. This would have been our 5th year. And we've had great success with that. A lot of our community members are coming out to that and connecting with our nonprofits. And we're just very excited to continue that process of being a bridge between the citizens and the nonprofits for today and for the future. And that's what the endowment's for, is to really utilize the interest on that to contribute to the shortfalls of many of the nonprofits or fund creative and innovative ideas for new projects. This year we changed just a little bit because we know that due to the recession or however the financial hit's going to occur, we're not just going to fund projects. We're going to really highlight some deficiencies in revenues this year with the nonprofits and the community and try to help them because of that. So we're constantly getting applications in. So if the nonprofits listen to this and they say, "Oh, I don't have a project," they're in survival mode right now. That's fine. We're looking for those individuals because really nonprofits are being hit hard financially due to this, and all sectors are. But we want to be an enabler that can help them get through this time in any way. So our maximum grant this year is going to be $2,500 per nonprofit, but we know that can help. We can help that get maybe get them through the next month, get rent paid, get a project funded. So we look forward to hearing from those nonprofits. We've streamlined our application process. There's only 3 questions this year. So please go to loftms.org if you're interested and give us some feedback, give us an application. We'd love to review it.
Great. What an excellent resource that Loft is providing to the local community and has been doing for a good long while now. Jody, how did you get involved in this work? How did you come to be at the university and to start this work with Loft?
Yeah, so I started my career in banking and finance years ago, and then I moved to wanting to pursue. Really, I was pursuing more of an executive position in places. So I went and got a PhD and started working in nonprofit too while I was getting my PhD, and worked in mental health. And I was at that other school a little bit south of here that we don't talk about that much, but it was a great experience and great people there, and what a great department I was really trained in. And I was able to had an opportunity to come to the University of Mississippi and be an assistant professor here and work with the Department of Public Policy Leadership. Well, in that process, I applied for Leadership Lafayette, which is an amazing program in this community, and really got a lot of exposure to different organizations in the community. And I found out that Loft was looking for an executive director. So I applied and talked to some of the board members, and they brought me on as to be an individual to start leading the organization. I worked in the grant world many years in nonprofits and with federal grants and foundation grants. So it was just a great fit for me, and I think to bring some value to the organization regarding grant eligibilities and grant guidelines. But also I wanted to work on really enhancing the visibility of Loft in the community and enhance the organizational capacity of Loft in the community, and really go out and make sure that when we give this money, it's being utilized for what we say it's going to be used for, to really do site visits and make sure we have impact in our dollars that were given to the nonprofits. And I couldn't be more pleased with what the nonprofits are doing with the resources, the justifications they're providing, the evaluations that we're getting. We've given over 150 grants out to Oxford and Lafayette County nonprofits, equaling almost a little bit over $400,000. So we've been very grateful to be a part of this process of enhancing the quality of life in our community.
Great. Well, I know we're grateful to you for your leadership and your service with Loft and for your dedication to the LOU community, and some great things ahead. And I think that Loft will continue to be at the center of a lot of the support for those things. So thank you, Jody, for getting us started on this path and for all the work you've done. I'd like now to introduce another one of our distinguished colleagues at the University of Mississippi, someone who may not need a very lengthy introduction for those of you who live in the Lafayette Oxford University community. And that is my colleague, Erin Picer-Oath, who has been at the University of Mississippi, I think for a little over a year. And I'll kick it over to her to share a little bit about herself and her background. And one of the things I admire most about Erin is that she works so effectively at this intersection between the university and the community. So it's been an inspiration to start working with you, Erin, and maybe you can share with our listeners a little bit about your background and how you got to the university.
Well, sure. Well, thank you, Anthony. Good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be with you today. We're so excited to launch off this new series, and I think it's just near and dear to my heart. As Anthony said, I've been around university community engagement for over 10 years myself, and I think it was just written on my life at an early age. My mom worked in nonprofits, and she managed a small nonprofit for over 20 years, and just has always been an inspiration to me, and her passion and her commitment, her ability to do a lot of really good work with not a lot of resources. And I think that's where I get really excited about university community engagement and the opportunity to do good work together. The opportunity to connect nonprofit partners who are doing such good work with our students, with our faculty, with staff, with all of our campus community, so that we can build those bridges and we can join each other in making our communities a better place to live. So I'm super excited to be here. As Anthony said, I've been at the university for a little over a year now. And I moved here from Texas. I was previously at Baylor University. And I think this work has just been such a great way to introduce myself to the Oxford community and to get to know this place and what makes this place really special and unique. So I have thoroughly enjoyed that journey here. I love, as Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. And I think that's just been really powerful to me in connecting with so many people who are doing great work here. And I'm excited to be a part of elevating that work, championing the work of others, and thinking about how we can provide tools, training, resources so that we can do great work together.
Yeah. Well, Erin, you've already started a lot of this work in earnest through a process of listening to our community partners. Would you mind to share a little bit about some of the work you've done here over the last several months with our local nonprofits?
Well, sure. Well, being new to the community, I think one of the important things about being a newcomer in any space is just taking time to listen and to get to know other people. I'm very relationship oriented. And so one of the things I spent a lot of time doing in the fall with Carissa, the graduate assistant that also works in our office, is spending time going and visiting our nonprofits. As Jody said, there's no substitute for just going and getting to know people and being in their space and learning about the work that they're doing. And that has just been so encouraging and inspiring to me, getting to hear about their challenges, about their successes, about what's working, what's not. But I think one of the things that I've really gravitated towards is to the opportunity to dream together and to hear their dreams and aspirations. What do they want to see? And I take great encouragement in that. I think there's a lot of potential, untapped potential, when we can get together and dream together. So that has been really rewarding and fulfilling. And I'm really excited to see how we can make some of those dreams happen, and how we can build strong partnerships and collaboration, how we can make our community work for everyone. A lot of that recently has evolved into just touch points. This pandemic has displaced many of us, and our work looks very differently than it did a couple of months ago. And so staying connected with our partners, knowing what's going on, being able to champion their work. Some of them are not operational, but some of them are operating at maximum capacity, and even more so because the need is so great right now. So I see my role as being able to reflect that, to bring people together, to know what's going on. I think it's really important to say that we can't fix it. We don't have the answers. And that's not our posture or our role. But when we come together and we're in that space together, we can support and encourage each other. And we can also dream and imagine new possibilities, and we can work towards solutions together. We can problem solve together, and we can make our community stronger together.
Yeah, that's such a lovely vision of community university partnerships. And, as the field of civic engagement and higher ed has evolved, it seems like one of the areas we've really moved to is this notion of co-creation and co-generation. And how can we think together? How can we dream together? And then how can we work together to bring those dreams to reality? And I think your background positions us really well to be effective in that co-creative space. So really appreciate all the good work you've started, and I think is going to be a bright future for this work in the LOU community. So for our next community chats, which will be taking place on this Wednesday at 12 noon, who do we got coming up, and who's coming up on Friday?
Sure. We are so excited to kick off this series. And on Wednesday, we will have Melanie Allington with the Oxford Film Fest with us. She has done great work in adapting so much support for the artist community in our office and their film festival, which had to be recanceled. It is now going to be the virtual Oxford Film Fest. So really excited to hear from her, celebrate the good work she's doing, and learn how we can support their ongoing efforts. On Friday, we will have Betsy Chapman with us from Oxford Community Market, talking about the work that she's doing to support farmers and to ensure the safety of our local food supply.
Fantastic. Two really great community partners who have been contributing so much to the LOU community. And we're delighted they could make the time amidst all the challenges we're facing to share some of their work with us. And we look forward to sharing out a full schedule for the rest of the month in April and throughout May in the coming weeks. So stay tuned to the Facebook page. And thank you, Erin, for getting us all set up and beginning to organize these community chats. Before we transition out, I want to kick it back over to Jody. Any last words for our listeners before we transition out and sign off?
Yeah, I just want anyone in the community who's watching this, please email us, reach out to us, connect to us. Tell us who the nonprofits you're working with, the ones that you like being a part of. We want to hear from you guys. This is a connector for Oxford and Lafayette community to come together with the university and on a collaborative approach and really highlight the needs in our community, highlight the resources in our community. And I'm really excited about this. I hope some people will really tune in a little bit.
Fantastic. And again, that website is loftms.org. Be sure to check out their grant process. As Jody mentioned, they've streamlined that. 3 questions. They've tried to make it easy, and I believe they're going to release funding in May. So for our nonprofit partners, be sure to go to loftms.org, and you can find our office and our web presence on the Division of Diversity and Community Engagement at the University of Mississippi. Quick Google search will bring that up for you. And of course, stay tuned right here in this space on Facebook. We'll come to you again on Wednesday at 12 noon. We're looking forward to having Melanie with us, and then we'll talk to the Oxford Farmers Market on Friday. So thanks to all of you for tuning in. If you're watching this later, thanks for making the time to review this. Stay safe and stay engaged, and we'll see you on Wednesday.